students. So yesterday we have seen different cell organelles, right? Cell organelles are nothing but the helping parts present in the cell, which are actually like organ parts. They are like organ parts, so they are called as organelles, right? So different cell organelles, yesterday we have seen, last year we have seen all of their names, and few cell organelles last year we have studied. From yesterday we have started a few new cell organelles also. So the first cell organelle which we have studied yesterday is endoplasmic reticulum. Then the second one which we have studied is Golgi complex. Then the third one which we have studied is lysosomes. So these three cell organelles we already have studied, right? So endoplasmic reticulum, there are two types of endoplasmic reticulums, rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, right? So as we have studied, on the surface of rough endoplasmic reticulum there is presence of ribosomes. Now this ribosome is our fourth cell organelle, which is very small in size but very important. The fourth cell organelle which is important is nothing but ribosome. So today we are going to start with the ribosome. The fourth and important cell organelle is ribosome. This ribosome is prepared inside the nucleus. That means its preparation, its synthesis is done in the nucleus and then it is transported in the cytoplasm. So ribosome is made inside the nucleus and then it is given out through the nucleopores. The pores which are present on the nuclear membrane, through that pores the ribosomes are given out, are transported out in the cytoplasm and then they come and settle on the endoplasmic reticulum and then they start the production of new proteins. They are the protein synthetic machinery. They are called as protein synthetic machinery. Okay, so ribosomes are made up of two subunits. One is the small subunit and second is the large subunit. So this is the structure of ribosome. It is made up of small subunit and large subunit, by which actually the new protein molecules are formed. So the function of ribosome is to synthesize new proteins for production of new cells. So whatever new cells are formed, for that new proteins are provided by these ribosomes which are present on the surface of endoplasmic reticulum. Understood? So that is our fourth cell organelle, ribosome. Then the fifth one, the next cell organelle is nothing but mitochondria. Right? We have studied last year about this mitochondria. The singular is mitochondrion. When they are single, they are called as mitochondrion, and when they are many, they are called as mitochondria. Okay, so these mitochondria are the largest cell organelle in the cell. Okay, they are the largest cell organelle in the cell, and if you see their structure, they are somewhat oval shaped. Okay, they are somewhat oval shaped, made up of two membranes, the outer membrane and the inner membrane. The outer membrane is quite porous, has pores on its surface, so it is quite porous, and the inner membrane has jelly-like structure inside it for the nourishment purpose. It has its own DNA or its own chromosome. So they synthesize on their own. New mitochondria are produced with the older mitochondria. Okay, so the older mitochondria produces new mitochondria, and for that purpose they have their own DNA molecule, their own chromosomes. Okay, so this is the structure of mitochondria. Now we'll move towards the function of mitochondria. Function, it is powerhouse of cell, right? Mitochondria is called as powerhouse of cell. Why? Because it produces energy, right? The energy which is required for doing our day-to-day life activities, that energy is produced inside the mitochondria by the oxidation of glucose, right? Glucose is mixed with oxygen and then the energy is released out, right? So this process is called as the respiration process, which you have studied in your 7th standard. So by the process of respiration, the energy is released inside the mitochondria. So this process, so the mitochondria is called as powerhouse of cell. Understood? So, and the energy is generated in the form of ATP molecules. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. So ATP is nothing but adenosine triphosphate molecule. So whatever energy is generated, that energy is stored in the form of a chemical, and that chemical is nothing but ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is called as energy currency of the cell. So whenever the energy is required by any of the part of our body, these ATPs move toward that part and provide the energy to that particular part of the body. So they are called as energy carrier molecules, energy currency molecules and all. So these ATP are actually the form of energy in our body. In our body we have chemical energy, and that chemical is nothing but this ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and that is generated inside the mitochondria. I hope you understood our 5th and very important, the largest cell organelle. Now we will move to the next organelle, and that next organelle is nothing but plastid. That also last year we have studied. The 6th one is plastid. This plastid is present only in plant cell. Plastid is present only in plant cell. There are two types of plastids, chromoplast and leucoplast. Chromoplast are colored plastids and color. Only chromoplast impart many of the colors to the plant body. So this is all about the plastid. Now we are going to study the chloroplast in detail. Okay, the chloroplast, which is a kind of plastid which is present in the plant cell. We are going to study its structure in detail. So let's start with the chloroplast. Chloroplast, again it also has double layered membrane but no folds on the membrane. It is just a single stretched membrane which has a ground matrix like a jelly structure, like a cytoplasm. It has a ground matrix inside the cell organelle. The fluid part is called as matrix. So it also has a ground matrix. Then it has small disc-like structures which are piled upon each other. Okay, these disc-like structures are piled upon each other for making a stack. So this is the stack of disc-like structures and they are interconnected. So this is the structure of chloroplast, which has the inner membrane, which has the outer membrane, which has the inner membrane. These disc-like structures are called as thylakoids. Their name is thylakoids. And this ground matrix is called as stroma. So these are the parts present in the chloroplast, which is a kind of green colored plastid which is present in plant and which perform the process of photosynthesis. So how actually and where actually the process of photosynthesis takes place? In the water enters in the thylakoid, the sunlight enters in the thylakoid. Okay, sunlight is absorbed in the thylakoid. Water is also entered in the thylakoid, and then both of them come out in the stroma, and the process of photosynthesis takes place in the stroma of the chloroplast. So this is how chloroplast work for the process of photosynthesis. I hope it is clear for all of you. Now the last but the important one, that is nothing but vacuole. The next one is vacuole. So in plant cell, the vacuoles are, suppose this is the plant cell. So in this plant cell, the vacuoles are larger in size, and that's why they shift the nucleus towards the cell membrane. So this is the vacuole and this is the nucleus in plant cell. But in animal cell, if you will see this in animal cell, suppose this is the animal cell. In animal cell, the nucleus is exactly at the center and vacuoles are very small in size and they are many in number, scattered here and there in the cytoplasm. So these are the vacuoles in animal cell and this is the nucleus. So that is the basic difference of vacuoles in plant cell and in animal cell. The basic function which the vacuoles perform is they are storage sacs in the cells. They store different kinds of proteins, different kinds of hormones, different kinds of vitamins, different kinds of sugars inside them. And all which is the seventh and the largest again cell organelle in the cell. Then the next one is centrosome, which is present only in animal cell. Centrosome help in the process of cell division. It is present near the nucleus, and when the nucleus starts dividing to two nuclei, that time this centrosome help the nucleus for the splitting. That is the only function centrosome performs. Okay. Then the next one is cilia and flagella. These are the locomotory organs of the say unicellular animals. Okay, these are found in unicellular animals only. In multicellular cells, cilia and flagella are not there. Only in unicellular animals, these cilia and flagella are present, which are the locomotory organs, which actually allows the movement of unicellular animals from one place to other place. Cilia are present, if you have seen the structure of paramecium. Paramecium has all over the body these small hair-like structures, and these are nothing but cilia. Okay, and they help the paramecium to move from one place to other place. They also help in capturing the food. Then second one is flagella. Flagella are present in bacterial cell most of the times. Okay, so suppose this is rod-like bacteria. It has either one flagellum, one is flagellum. When two are there, they are flagella. They help the cell again to capture the food and for movement purpose. So this is how we have studied 9 different cell organelles. We will revise one by one. First is endoplasmic reticulum. Second is Golgi complex. Third is lysosomes. Then fourth is mitochondria, or fourth is ribosome. Then fifth is mitochondria. Then we have studied plastids. Then we have studied vacuoles. Then we have studied the centrosomes, and then cilia and flagella. So these are 9 different cell organelles which are present in plant cell as well as in animal cell as well as in unicellular organisms. So I hope you understood all the cell organelles in the cell. In our next session, we are going to study about the cell division process. So I hope you understood today's session. Thank you.